To watch more Bhagavad Gita discourse videos, subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Reading, writing, trying to understand Sanskrit a little better, all these I was doing, meditating. But still, why is it that I do not have fulfillment? Still, why in the mind there is a void? Why still the mind is feeling that something is there which I must achieve? And then, after vichara, I conclude that I am doing everything. Getting up early in the morning, preparing breakfast, then going for the class, and everything I am doing. But this sadhu sangha and the swadhyaya, the shastra patha, everything is remaining separate from me. I am not bringing whatever I am learning, I am not bringing them down to my day-to-day activities. You get me? It's not coming. The question that you have asked, I'm not doing it. So I am very satisfied that I have read Taittiriya Upanishad, I have read Kathopanishad, now we are doing this Upanishad, I have read Patanjali Sutra, I am reading Brahma Sutra Bhashya. Oh, very happy. But whatever is being told, and that telling is nothing. If you read all the Shastras, there will be only one thing to know, that God is self is all pervading, you are the self, you are Brahman. That's all. So how to bring that knowledge or wisdom to every moment? So this vichara has to be done. So again I come back to this, the habit has to be given. Now how will you make that habit? Every day, either you read the Bhagavad Gita. So in the 12th chapter, there are so many qualities of a devotee. In the 13th chapter, so many qualities are given for jnana. So you see one by one, have I achieved this? Have I achieved this? Have I achieved this? Adveshta sarva bhutanam. So if you want to get that quality, why do you want to get that quality? Because in this spiritual path, God Himself says that whoever has these qualities is very dear to me. And once we get those qualities, we also constantly will feel the presence of God in our heart. So, Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam, the first one. Are we like that? So you start introspecting. Today, have I behaved with everybody with love? Do I love everybody? Or still I have so much of dislike for some person? I think you can make some columns on the left and keep on ticking. Give the dates and keep on ticking. I think if you are a sincere seeker, you should do that. Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam Maitra Karuna Evacha. Right? Adveshta Sarva Bhutanam. Then Maitra, Karuna, all that. And then see how you are progressing, whether you are done. And you have to be true to yourself. True to yourself. Do you think that I am saying something which cannot be done? You should do. I have done it. I have done it. It can be done. So, again it comes back to the yearning. Whether you are really yearning. If you are really yearning, instead of taking the phone, talking to somebody or going out to parties, you will spend your time in these things. What will happen? You will know the quality. Oh, I started with that Sarvadharam. Sarvadharam Sarvavastu Prakasham. That is for the self and this is for a devotee. Anyway, that's all the same. It gives only purity, sublimity, divinity. So we have to see at least few of it. Are we able to achieve? One day there was Gita, those days the prayer used to be in our veranda in the old building. Samadhi Mandir had not yet come. So we chanted Aniketaha. So I ran after the prayers to Swamiji. The Swamiji, Aniketaha. No, I am not Aniketaha. I have left home, but I have come to an ashram where all facilities are there. I have a shelter over my head. I am getting food. I've got many kinds of facilities. So how do I know that I am an Aniketa? And Swamiji said, everything, you need not feel that you have to go out and prove yourself whether you can live and roam on the streets. You must be prepared to leave any time when it is necessary. He told me that. But Aniketaha for you will be, your mind should be ready to leave this place any time. Then I remembered our Maharaj Gurudev, he had said, सन्यासी का क्या है, साधु का क्या है, कहीं पे गड़बड़ हुआ, दंड उठाया, लाठी उठाया, चल दिया. That what about a sadhu? If there is any problem anywhere, wherever he is now staying, if there is a problem there, take your lathi and walk off. So one day, Swamiji came and said, see, when I am not here, he said, those were many days back, but still he said this. If there is any difficulty, do not go into any kind of argument or anything. Simply walk off. He told. Maybe things have changed now. Maybe that is not the case now. Whatever was the situation at that time, he said that this should be. That is keeping the mind ready. And many times I have felt that this should be our attitude in life, that we are sitting in the platform of a railway station. As soon as the vehicle, the train will come, we should be ready to get in and go. This is called disinterestedness. This is called dispassion. Nobody is asking us to go away, leave, go to the forest. But these feelings should be there. To live, to be able to live in whichever manner one is. So Sarvadharam Sarvavastu Prakasham. Sarvavastu Prakasham, that it is that which illumines everything. You know, one word, we can just chant it, and be that. And ultimately it says Sarvadharam Sarvavastu Prakasham Sarvakaram Sarvagam Sarvashunyam, and the last one is Brahmadvaitam Yat Tadevahamasmi. That Advaita Brahma, whatever is that Brahman, that is me. I am that. I am that. So when you are sitting somewhere, maybe a little time is there, you can chant your Guru Mantra, you can chant these slokas in whichever way you can, just focusing on the meaning, trying to be one with that, and this will become a habit with you. Discriminate constantly between real and unreal, eternal and transitory, imperishable and perishable, and what is everlasting good and auspicious, and what is short-term good. So what is everlasting good and what is short-term good? I think that becomes very clear. Constantly think that should I do this? Will it give me everlasting happiness and something good? Or is it a short-term one? And choose between the two. So this discrimination should always be there. Grow dispassion for the transitory worldly objects, which give happiness no doubt, but that happiness is always mixed with unhappiness. So constantly discriminate, see whether whatever you are trying to do, whether they are thoughts, your words, your actions, whether those are going to give you happiness, which is everlasting. If it is not, try to understand whether that will do you good or not and reject them. At least maybe sometimes, it happens that family people, because of the pressure of family people or pressure of the peers, you have to do something which you don't like. But slowly, slowly, slowly make them understand that you do not like those things and only follow that which will grow more of dispassion towards these transitory worldly objects. Introspect between need and desire. That is very important. Whether something is a desire or whether something is a need. Many things we have to do because it is a necessity. But whether we are doing something because it is a desire, that discrimination one has to have. External purity, purity of body, place of stay, dress, food, etc. Purity should be maintained. Then cultivate desirable traits. Like I said in 12th chapter, 13th chapter, there are many other chapters. But like patience, endurance, perseverance, tolerance, loving everybody, sacrificing for others, all these things you must cultivate. And practice to cultivate contentment. This is very important. Contentment. If you practice in growing contentment, then you will find that discriminations will be discriminating between everlasting happiness and fleeting happiness. That will become very easy. We should be contented with what we get. This is most important for a seeker. If it is not there, even as a spiritual seeker who is yearning a lot, it becomes a hindrance. It becomes a hindrance. There is a shloka. What is the shloka? Bandho hi vasana bandho moksha syat vasana kshayaha vasanam tvam parityajya moksharthitvam api tyaja. Bandho hi vasana bandho. What is bondage? Vasana. All our unhappiness, our misery, everything is because we have desire and expectation for little things, if not big things. Big things like lot of money, lot of luxury, lot of name, fame, etc., position, prestige, all that. And small things, I should be loved by everybody, everybody should appreciate me, everybody should talk good of me, everybody should be considerate to me, understanding. I think all of us, we are victim of these. If somebody says that, no, you have not done this well, face will become like this. You will feel, oh, I did so much. I will tell you that one incident. When we came, Swamiji said he was never happy in the manner in which the kitchen runs. Because Swamiji wanted to feed everybody. But ever since he had established the ashram, those who had stayed here and the help that they got, they could not feed everybody, whoever came. So that Swamiji had told me this many times. So it so happened that after we came, I think after 1 year or so, when I got a little settled, Swamiji's birthday came. So birthday also, now storytelling has come. Birthday also, earlier here generally the star birthday is seen. The star on which day in this month. So Swamiji's birthday would be falling sometimes in April, sometimes in May, whichever star. So that used to pose a lot of difficulty. Before us, there were many here who had slowly gone. They were all South Indians. And when we came, we are not given to this star birthday. So we would not be able to understand from the calendar then when is the birthday falling. So in Vichar Setu, sometimes wrong dates will be printed. So our Narayan Nambiar always would come, either the previous one or the next one. He will never come in time to attend the birthday. And so it happened with others, that people would come, but birthday has already been celebrated. Or they have come, but that is not the birthday. Next month is the birthday. Then it was decided, when many people started coming, that let us go by the English date. So that year, with whatever language at that time I knew, I did not know the language well, and the help that we had, I felt that I have arranged everything very well. A lot of people came, and suddenly unknown people also came, and everybody was given food. Beggars, at that time beggars used to come. Beggars were also given food. So at the end of the day, I told Swamiji that, Swamiji, you have been telling me that you always had a pain that people are not fed properly in our ashram. Kitchen doesn't run well. Now, I think today's feeding has gone off very well, and I'm very happy that it has been so. So Swamiji kept quiet. So I said, Swamiji, you had told me this, and now that everything has gone off well, at least say something that you are satisfied. But say a few words of appreciation. Swamiji looked at me and said, oh, actually you should have reminded me to appreciate you. He said that. So I think I did not think on that for a long time. Much later, one day I thought that, see, he has said this only to hit me with this, that I was becoming very proud and having ego, that after I have taken charge of the kitchen, everything has gone up well. So Swamiji told me that I should have reminded him. He doesn't feel, for him, if the feeding has gone off well, it is good. Then why should he appreciate? So small desires will be there. So that is why I told this. So at that time, the small desire was what? That if I do something, somebody should appreciate me. And so this is a desire. Actually, for any spiritual seeker, desire is to be completely removed. Vasanakshaya, it is called. Manonasha, Vasanakshaya, Manonasha and Tattvajnana. These three. And Yoga Vasishtha, it talks about it. So Vasanakshaya. Slowly I understood in many things. I think I have told it many times. When we came, the atmosphere here was very, very different. And we had come, we came once, within 6 months we came second time, and within 3 months we came and joined. That is, within 1 year we came and joined. Till that time nobody had seen us. So all the people who were associated with the ashram, suddenly they saw, where from these people have come? And Swamiji is so free with them, so close with them. Swamiji is allowing them to handle everything. So there was lot of problem. And even the workers. Mataji was sick, she was not able to see the running of the ashram. So workers were very free to do whatever they liked. When we came, we started understanding what they are doing. That without telling, they are taking away the fruits from here, or without telling, some bricks which are stacked here, they are moving towards the boundary. So all those things, we would not be able to talk to them, but we will come and talk to Swamiji. Then Swamiji will take action. So naturally we became, we were disliked by everybody. So there was a lot of problem. After 2.5 years, Swamiji one day said, I think you have weathered the storm very well. So I was saying that Vasana, bandho hi Vasana bandho. That Vasana, if the Vasana is there, then the Vasana is a bondage. And during those times, in my diary, I have written that Nirapekshata. I've written that for some days I was floating in Nirapekshata, and suddenly it has gone away, taking leave completely. Where it has gone, I don't know. That means my mind had started expecting some kind, maybe good words, or maybe some good behavior from somebody. Vasanam tvam, no, moksha syad vasanakshayah. And what is moksha? What is liberation? Vasanakshayah. That is, removal of vasana is moksha. If in your mind there is no vasana, vasana means anything. You have to give up your desires. See, that is why I just told needs and desires. You have to understand what is the desire. The desires which distract you, does not allow you to grow forward in the spiritual path as a seeker. Those desires have to be completely taken away. Your desire to come and serve your guru, of course, you should not remove. Your desire to do something for the ashram, of course, you must do. Not those desires. There are some sattvika desire and there are some desires which are not congenial for sadhana. Those desires. So, vasanakshayaha. Vasanam tvam parityajya. So, vasana has to be left. And the last line is moksharthitvam api tyaja. That is, I want moksha, I want moksha, I want moksha becomes such a vasana that you are hindered by that. You are hindered by that. Initially, you must have that feeling. I must grow, I must progress. I will do all that I'm hearing. I will try to cultivate the qualities which I hear about the self, about the devotee. I will be fully expanded. But if that vasana becomes such where it agitates your mind, agitates in the mind means still you find that you are not. See, once a person is liberated, he will live the life like a jnani. All the qualities that we see in a jnani, he will be like that. Munif prasanna gambhiro durvigahya duratyayah. He is prasanna, he is gambhira. These qualities should come. And shrotriyo brahmanishta, then brahmavittamaha. He'll be absolutely calm in his mind. All these things should be expressed in him when he has realized. Now, the person who is looking for moksha has done lot of tapasya, lot of austerity, lot of studies, everything he has done, and still his mind remains agitated to the extent he may feel that my guru is not doing anything for me. How many years I am doing my dhyana, meditation, still I have not attained anything. Such kind of feelings. Or this mantra doesn't have any effect. Such kind of feelings. So, moksharthitvam api tyaja. So, any time, any vasana, even when it is a vasana for moksha, if it agitates your mind, it has to be removed. In this Siddhashrama article, I have written about somebody. Oh, just 5 minutes. I have written about somebody that Atmananda Swamiji was saying that his guru Narayan Tirthadev, to meet him one day, one gentleman came. He belongs to a very well-known ashram and which has many centers in India and abroad. And he is not married, he stays in that ashram. So he came there to meet Narayan Tirthaji. And Narayan Tirthaji had just come down for 3 months from Uttarkashi. He was very busy with his own devotees, meetings, looking after the ashram affairs. But still he gave time. And very patiently he was hearing. And this person was saying that he doesn't get any time with his guru. Any time with his guru. Guru is so very busy. He doesn't have any opportunity to ask him any doubt. So Narayan Tirthaji asked him, listen, and after that started asking him question. And he said, your guru is not meeting you at all. You are not getting any time with him. He said, no. Then after a lot of interrogation, it was found out that yes, every day this gentleman gives guru the bhiksha at night. At that time, nobody is around. For 15 minutes, he is with his Guru. So Narayan Tirtha Ji became very strong. He said, what? Your Guru, I have understood from your narration that he is a very busy person. Still see, he is so merciful, so compassionate, that 15 minutes every day he is giving you. You can ask all your questions. This gentleman had come to ask something from Narayan Tirtha Ji, some Upadesha. So he said this, that what are you saying? You know, the Guru gives his everything. When Guru gives Diksha, Guru gives everything. It is for the Shishya to make effort and grow forward. You are not doing it and you are blaming your Guru that Guru doesn't give me time. So that man went away, shyly he went away. And then other thing also I'm remembering, I've written in that article that reminded me of one incident where Swamiji used to take classes. So when we came, for 7 years there was no classes here, only night satsang. So then we were very eager to learn the Shastras, so Swamiji ultimately started. So 9:30 the bell will ring. But Swamiji will go to the garden. Those days he used to go to the garden to see the coconut plants, plantains, or whatever. Our construction was always our friend, so it will be always there, some construction or other. He will go to the construction site and mostly he will come late to the class. Or if he is taking the class, somebody will come and say that please come, very urgent. So he will go and go away. So it used to bring in lot of grievance in my mind. That 1 hour, because the whole day was so active and mostly my work was in the kitchen. And that is a thing that I don't think that I liked doing kitchen work so much. But everything I had to do and I was doing very happily. But I would feel that when 1 hour we are getting for class, it should be uninterrupted. So anyway, it will happen every day. So a lot of grievance in my mind, agitation in my mind, helplessness in my mind. Sometimes tears will come in my eyes. All that used to happen. So one day Swamiji came back from the site with all his tour of the sites and garden, only when 15 minutes were left. So that day I spoke out. I said, Swamiji, every day it is like this. You are not able to take a full class and we are not progressing with the slokas at all. Swamiji became quite grim and said, you are saying this? Have you learnt whatever I have taught so far? Have you learnt them? Have you reflected upon them? Have you assimilated them and trying to bring into your life? If you have not done that, you could have done it. Sitting here, you could have learned some of the slokas. You have not done that and you are blaming that I am coming late for the class. So this is self-effort. Unless we have self-effort, whether you are in Guru Sannidhi for few days or throughout your life or you are in your house, self-effort has to be given to progress in this path of spirituality. Okay.
Join our live event on the 10th, 11th and 12th of October 2020. Register at www.globalgeeta.org.